Amaral with the ILR web team. It's July of 2025, and I'm going to demo the two-card stack today. It's a design element that's been in our design system for quite a while, and we finally found a way to quickly implement it with something we already have called card decks. So this is it in Figma in the design system. You can see it's called two-card stack there, and it's basically a single component. You can see the black kind of takes up that it's a single block or box, and inside are two cards. These are very similar to cards we already have, where there's an image on top and then the card details below, including a possible icon, also a possible label, a title, some text, and an optional button. One thing that's different about this than most of our other cards is the aspect ratio of these two images. They're square, 1-to-1 aspect ratio. So I'll show you how we can create this in Drupal in our content editing system using some components we already have. So this is actually the production site, and I recently found that there's a test page in there, so we're going to go hunt it down and mess with that one. It's called test page. Let's go look at it first. You can see it's just got some intro text, and it looks like a form was added to the page. So I'm going to edit this, maybe add a new section. Although we don't necessarily have to. And in this case, we'll come back maybe and look at some of these settings. Color scheme is something that's of possible interest. And if I remember, I'll come back to that. If not, feel free to play on your own. So the component we're looking for is actually called a card deck. It's been there for a while, but it got some new abilities. The first of which is that it can have its own color scheme right now, either light, dark, or nothing. And the second is it got a new layout. We're calling it two columns with divider. So that's a feature that I didn't point out when I was looking at the design, but you can see this vertical line that goes through the center, separating the two cards. So let's just add this. I'm going to give it, just like we saw in that design, I'll give the card deck a dark background. We'll use this new layout, and we're going to add two cards. And for each card, it's pretty important to pick the right layout. Now, this one is going to use, I'm going to start with these stacked images. They just look the best. Some of them can look terrible, and in the future we may put some things in here that would prevent you from using stuff that would just look terrible, but for now, you just have to select the right layout. We found one that actually looks good despite it not being in the design, and maybe I'll show that too. The color scheme here should probably be none, so we'll inherit what it got from the card deck itself. Color schemes are inherited, but actually you can get some cool effects by using color schemes on the cards within. I will pick an icon. This is optional, and then I'll go in here and I'm just going to use the words they have in their design. So this would be the title. This is the title. For the body text, I'm just going to put some placeholder text, and maybe not that much. This design seems to just look better with a little less text in it. We'll put in a URL, and we'll call this Learn More for the link. And for media, you can choose any media from the existing media library. Doesn't have to be a specific aspect ratio. That'll be taken care of when it's rendered. And it looks like it's going to take a good long time. Perhaps through the magic of editing we'll fix this, or if something's gone wrong, I will stop the video and start it again. There it is. Just had to be quiet and patient. Let's see. We'll try that one. And I'll add a second card. And again, I'm going to pick stacked, no color scheme. And this one will get an icon as well, maybe something different. Some more lorem ipsum. And this time I'm hoping the media, that's a little quicker that time. Let's try this nice driving picture. And that should be enough. Now you can technically add a third card. You should not do this with a 2-card deck. That's another thing we may add some safeguards and guardrails for in the future, but in the interest of getting this out quickly, we just made it so that you can get it done, but you could add stuff that would make it not look that great. So let's save this page and see what we got. So here we have it. It's a little harder to see on the smaller screen, but for video purposes I made it fairly small. But if I zoom out in the browser, you can get a fuller picture of it. And it's very similar to the comps. So let's go ahead and play with a couple of the other options we noticed. So if that's all you want to do is accomplish one of these things, you can stop right here. But more things you can do. If you do want to, you can add a color scheme to the entire section. So actually a light one would be interesting. I'll just preview it here. So you can see you get that. It's hard to see maybe, but you get a light border with this dark thing in it, and the light border would bleed across. I'll save the page so you can get a full look at it. So you can see this gray border that goes across. So you can kind of put it in its own section. You could alternately leave the color scheme, let's make it dark, on the section itself, and then the card deck would not need a color scheme. And this would trickle down, giving you the effect of like a full bleed card deck that goes edge to edge. So that's kind of nice. And what did I say I would show? There's probably, oh, I remember. There's a couple of different card layouts that actually work. There's only 2 that work in total. But here's another thing that we discovered just while testing it out. If the cards themselves have a color scheme, let's say we make this one light, this can actually have an okay effect. You end up with the card, the image up above and the card here. Not terrible, probably better if they both matched. And then the other fun thing we noticed was we expected only the stacked cards to work out inside them. So I'm just going to go back in here and put this back to none so it inherits the section color scheme. And we found that content inset, and I'll just preview this one for the section, actually looked okay. So you can see here how it kind of goes inside. Now, this is technically covering the image, so it would have to be only for images that were more aesthetic and not necessarily representative. You wouldn't want to do this over a portrait or something. But that's not even all that bad of a look. So that's the feature. Feel free to play around with it. Yes, you can put in options there like a third card or a panel layout for a card that will just look terrible. But as long as you hit those preview buttons, it's going to look just fine. So hope you enjoy it. If you have questions, just let anybody on the web team know and enjoy.